Welcome back to a Windy City They Tan Watch, the channel where truth meets freedom, right here in the heart of Chicago. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with our latest investigations, interviews, and insights. Your support fuels our fight for freedom and truth. So, let's dive into today's journey, armed with knowledge and the relentless spirit of the Windy City.
Howdy, everybody. WindyCityThetanWatch. It is Tuesday, the 14th of May. We're heading over to the org, see if we can shut the blinds up, maybe see if we can find some body routers, collect some more flyers. I'm going to wallpaper my basement with those flyers. Before we get started today, well, first of all, if you're in the replay crew, please leave a comment, like, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Subscribing is free. And if you're alive, go ahead and hit that like button. As we walk over, I just wanted to throw a little bit more support. Her court date coming up, May 20th, I think Monday. I do plan on being over there on the 20th, so I don't know if I'll be in the courthouse or outside the courthouse, but I'll definitely be over there to support her. In the description below, you should see a link to Nance Drew's community page. And Nance Drew is still looking for some support, right? The lawyers cost money. So it would be awesome if you could head over there and go to Nance Drew's community page. Her top post shows a large number of ways that you can donate to her: PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, etc. So if you're so inclined and you have the means, please go ahead and help her out. Now, it's something to notice that those community page links, they give her money immediately, and YouTube doesn't charge their 30% tax on it. So we always appreciate when you become members and when you super chat for us. But those have a 30% tax, and they also have a little bit of a delay on us receiving money. So you get paid on the 21st of the month if you've made at least $100 the month before. So again, if you have a chance to, please head over to Nance Drew. And if you feel so inclined, help her out with some donations. How are you doing, Sharon? I'm glad to have you in here. Let me scroll back up here a little bit. Howdy, Ann. 9:15 p.m. Sweden. I'll say my name has a Swedish derivative. Howdy, Bridge. Howdy, Erica. Hi, Z-News. It's a little bit crisp out here today. It's the temperature devices say it's 58 degrees. It feels a little bit chillier than that. There's no real wind to speak of. Got a little bit of cloud. I'm going to turn the camera around so you don't have to look at my face anymore. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it that well, but right, we've got a little bit of cloud, low cloud over there. Now let me get this thing back set up correctly. I think it was yesterday, or it might have been Sunday. And again, stuff happens so fast, it's a blur, it's a blend. I had the incident with the police on Sunday with the chalk, and then we had an incident with the police with the tape. And then finally we had one of the Scientologists do precisely what the police warned me not to do, with the understanding that I have never done what the police told me not to do. A Scientologist came out and did that to me. When the police came, they claimed they saw no crime. So the laws are for thee, but not for me. So says Scientology, and so says the Chicago police. Howdy, Jurgen. Yeah, and I'll say feels like 58 degrees is not overly warm. Now, I was kind of silly. I had it over here in just a long sleeve shirt. I don't have a jacket on. Okay, so if we look down the row, I think that's disposal pickup. Like that looks to be grease disposal pickup from the Pat's Pizza, most likely. Or either Pat's Pizza or Subway, but I don't think Subway does many things that it has to do fryers on. Not seeing any suits here on Harrison. We'll turn on to Polk in just a second. See what we see over there. The Fifth Third Bank is out there on his perch. That security guy is just always leaning up against the fence there. Howdy, Debbie. Great seeing you. There's a second dumpster out in front of the orgs, and it's really out in front of Columbia. My guess is that's because all of the students are moving out this week, right? It's end of semester and probably end of the lease term for them. So as they're cleaning out their apartments, a lot of stuff ends up in the dumpster. I can see the door is open from here. No idea what they've got going on with the shades right now. We will see quickly. Howdy, MD Media. Good morning or good afternoon to you as well. Oh yeah, you're 2 hours behind us, so you're still morning, I think. Yeah, so the shades are up, so we'll get to pull those down. I think this is the new language. There's a couple of new languages here. The pyramid of the pyramid scheme. Howdy, Marina. We've got 3 people at the admin desk. As soon as the taller person saw me, they came forward. I'll give them the yawn motion. I'm sure they'll come up and yawn for me. Again, I want to remind everybody that, right, churches like to work in the shadows. So it's very odd that this church, who's going to save the world, has to hide from us. They absolutely do. Yeah, I've become pretty effective at that. Usually about the only time that I don't is every once in a while I'll come over and I'll catch a body router first. And so I won't go straight up to the front of the org to do that. Now, one thing we might want to say is that it's not trespassing, but that sign is on public property right now, and they don't have a permit. So if somebody wants to call 311 and let the city know that their sign is on the public sidewalk, they spend a lot of money on a lot of stupid things, but paying the fee in order to put their sign out is not one of the things that they're willing to spend money on. We only saw 3 people on the first floor. Now remember, I can't see anything upstairs at this point. There might be more people upstairs, but what I'm going to do is kind of wander the neighborhood a little bit. It's 12:25, so we should see people out on lunch right now. Here we've got Imprint, which is the apartment complex across the street that has Scientology birthed in studio apartments. Yesterday, the union was out here with some kind of strike that was going on. I don't know if it was against Imprint or a construction company that was doing some work for Imprint, but regardless, they had the inflatable rats out. Yesterday was a very quick drive-by. I just came by and made sure I got the shades down. Oh, We've got some Scientos coming up the street. They'll go in the back. Truth hurts. Anything positive to say about church? Happy Tuesday. Right, and then the taller person is going to go ahead and use the alley. I'll go across real quick. Now we've got the cops down here already. They're not here for me that I know of. Oh, here's Jessica, another one of our Scientologists. So we'll wait here as she comes down the street. Can't tell if this is a new recruit or not. Should women be able to report sexual abuses against them if they're committed by a member of the church? Our friend Jessica. Kind of want to watch where she heads off to. If you go down that street that they were heading south on, you go into a bit of a vacant area until you get to Roosevelt, unless they were going to the apartment complex that's right there. Sorry, I keep on looking backwards. You guys can't tell because I try to hold the camera a little bit steady. Yeah, so they went down that street. What might be happening is, although there's really no place they can do it, because if you go down that street at the intersection of Clark and Roosevelt, there's a Target store. But beyond the Target store, there's just nothing to really, there's no open space. There's no place that I think is an opportunity for them to be routing or body routing. Nothing down here on Dearborn. Just out of curiosity, I want to go see where those two headed off to. So we're going to double back to the edge of that block, jog a little bit. I do have my body cam on today. Again, if you're in a little bit late, trying to help Nance Drew out a little. She has her court appearance on Monday, May 20th. She has selected a lawyer. The lawyer is going to cost her more money than she anticipated. And if you could head over to, I've got a link down in the description for her community page. All of the ways that you can help support her, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, etc. If you can, please use those links rather than using YouTube directly on her page or on her site. And the reason being that she won't get the YouTube quickly. Not sure where she went off to. There's a coffee spot right here. So she might have gone across the street and inside of Socialize. Yeah, I can see them through the window. They're in the coffee shop there. So I am going to show up there. I think that Korn's going to be there. I'm not. She had a late night broadcast of the people that she knows that are coming. Any extra support is always appreciated. So if we can be there, that'd be great. I do plan on being there. Again, I don't know how crowded the court will be. I want to see if I can kind of do the Jacob Harkey role. Howdy, Susan. Howdy, St. Louis. We went past the org first thing, and we were able to get the shades down very quickly. And, you know, it seems like a small thing and trivial, and again, I get a kick out of it. It's important because when people walk by and they see a closed up place, it's uninviting to them. So that's the biggest reason why I want to make sure that we're closing the blinds every day. It's sort of like there's this little checklist of go through the things that are going to help prevent them from recruiting. Closing the blinds makes them look closed. It makes them look like they operate in the shadows. It's uninviting to any interested party who might be curious about what the church has to offer. The next thing I want to do is I always want to make sure that I'm not allowing the body routers to have free reign, especially in this neighborhood. Now, they're more than I am, so I'm one person. And what I'm trying to do is try to box them as much as possible, but I can only come here for a few hours a day. I can't be everywhere. They can outnumber me very easily. And again, I'm not worried about them outnumbering me in regards to overpowering, but I can't be everywhere. They can be a lot more places than I can. And they can get outside of this, let's say, the local zone. If they want to, they can get out to the outer neighborhoods, and I'd have no way of discovering them out there unless we can keep on developing the network of people that will email me when they see the Scientologists out there. So yeah, we're over at State Street. Nothing really showing up here on State Street. I'll walk up to Harrison and then walk back to the org. So she's been a little bit vague about that, and I'm not sure why. There are several courthouses that it could be. I do have an email out to Nance to see if I can figure that out. And if not, I know that I can get the information from some of the others. Howdy, Grim Adam. So even on this rather chilly day, right, lunchtime, we're seeing people walking in groups of 10 and 20. This is a very, if we think about the Top Gun bar scene, this is a target-rich environment. There are a lot of bodies to make contact with in this neighborhood. And to Scientology, it's just a numbers game. They're not targeting specific people, and I'm going to hedge that a little bit, right? That they're not trying to pull the homeless into their church. They have no ability or desire to help clothe, feed, or shelter the unhoused or the people in need. So that will get you off of the list of people to contact. But other than that, it's pass out the flyer to everybody and see who comes in. Kind of reading through the so there's one right above the river. There's a courthouse. There's also a courthouse on not Polk, Van Buren, just a little bit west of Canal, I think. There's a Cook County courthouse out in like Schaumburg and Rolling Meadows, but those are usually for, well, that's a county, that's not the city. I'm guessing a little bit here, but I think there's a courthouse that's just north of the river, either on Clark or on LaSalle. Court is May 20th. And again, for those that are able to, you know, any funds that you can get to her before that would be greatly appreciated. You know, the lawyer is going to want money, right? And I don't fault the lawyer for that. It is his job, it's his profession. It makes perfectly good sense that he should get paid for what he does. Sorry, I'm a dinosaur. I use male pronouns by default, but she even mentioned that it was a male attorney. Thank you, Neverin. Neverin, do you have the, do you know which courthouse they're going to be at? Okay. Yeah, so we don't have confirmation on the courthouse. I'm sure we'll have that by Monday. I definitely want to do whatever I can to make sure that I'm either in the courthouse supporting her or outside the courthouse supporting her. We're again heading back now. A lot of times in this 12 o'clock hour, remember 12 o'clock Central Time, it is the lunch hour. I don't know if they get a half hour. I don't think they have time clocks in the church. That I'll tend to see people coming in and out of the building and grabbing lunch or going back to the apartment or so, but they're usually coming back as well. So they'll leave near the top of the hour and then come back again as it approaches 1 o'clock. It's very likely that the charges will be dropped. One thing I don't know if she's pursued talking to the city attorney already to say, hey, can you just drop them so we don't have to come in? There is no real evidence as to what happened. What Scientology claims occurred didn't occur. And even if it did, even if contact was made, which is the claim, but there's no evidence of that, it was incidental. So, I can't imagine a judge trying to throw the book at Nance. Now, a lot of times what happens is they try to create plea deals out of this, and my hope is she doesn't take a plea deal in this situation, because then Scientology can kind of sweep it under the rug as a victory. Yes, and as Neverin is mentioning, win or lose, she's got to pay the legal fees. Now, if they had done a filing and maybe there was a motion made, if maybe there was a motion made to dismiss even beforehand, as she mentioned last night in her broadcast, that the lawyer said this usually takes 2 to 3 visits. So the first time, it'll kind of be, I guess, like an arraignment type hearing. It will be unlikely that they dispatch the case. So whether, and by that I mean they won't get to a point of guilt, innocence, or otherwise. They might drop it immediately on the idea that there is no evidence and it's a foolish case. This is a city where on the average weekend, there are 19 to 20 pew-pew incidents. We lost an officer in the line of duty 2 or 3 weeks ago. There are real significant crimes that occur here. This isn't. Thank you, J-Bot. So it's this question is that, sorry, it's not necessarily that she can sue for her recoupment of fees here, but she can sue the police department for unfair practices. So one of the things that really kind of sucks in our country is that you're innocent until proven guilty, but you still have to pay to show up. So it still is a way to harm people. And we know that L. Ron Hubbard historically, and again, still we've got the shades down. The cult is unwilling to show the public. You know it's a cult, right? Most racist philosopher ever. Yeah, sorry. So as I was saying, that the church can really bankrupt you by putting you through an awful lot of the preliminary legal elements. And then at the final minute say, I'll drop it. But at that point, you've spent an awful lot of money. The church doesn't care because it has an almost unlimited supply of money. And there's nobody like dwindling it away with tax revenue. Howdy. Howdy. Remember, I take the camera up whenever we've just got people pass by. You're fine. I've got the camera in the air. Yeah. 100%. Now, one of the things that I find interesting is the relationship that Scientology has with Nation of Islam, especially with how blatantly racist LRH was. He was pro-apartheid. And by the way, pro-apartheid is basically anti-black in South Africa. Anything positive to say about the church? Any gains this week? So sadly, there's nothing positive and there's no gains. We've got another Scientologist kind of hiding behind civilians down here, right? Now, this is a situation where unfortunately the civilians kind of get a little bit challenged because I do want to show the Scientologist. Anything positive to say about your cult? Is it okay that women can't report sexual abuses against them if it's committed by a member of the church? Yeah, so is it the clear cognition that you're speaking about, Anne? So, right, the clear cognition. I realized I'm mocking up my own reactive mind and I'm not going to do it anymore. Look, I'm clear, free. Anything positive to say about the church? Is it okay that women can't report sexual abuses against them if it's committed by a member of the church? Sorry, so Philip, is it clear cognition that we're talking about right now, or the idea that somebody could actually be clear, which I don't know how you prove that you're clear or not? Just a reminder to some of you that might be new to the channel. Early on, I saw this sign as an opportunity. I don't have the funds in any way, shape, or form to be able to do it, but Scientology took advantage of it, and they now have their billboard up here. And welcome in, Philip. Thank you, Fuzzy, for being the good host that I seldom am. I really appreciate that everybody's here. Hit that like button, subscribe, it's free. On this channel, I'm out here quite frequently. I'm in the neighborhood, so I can get here fairly quickly. We've had situations in the past where there might have been somebody who's trying to intimidate or impress upon the protesters in a negative way. And I've been able to get down here fairly quickly just to kind of stand between the protesters and whomever is trying to cause any form of intimidation. With Nance, right, when she was arrested a few weeks ago, I was able to get down here and with everybody else, put some pressure on the police. They didn't really care. They were going to work on their own timeline to let to figure out when Nance come out. Up the street is coming the person who assaulted me. So this will be interesting. And she's wearing the same outfit. So I don't know if it's they don't have a laundry service or if they just wash on a daily basis. But what I'd love to do, oh, you know what? I'm going to get my camera out as well. I want to get a better megapixel resolution of her because I need to get a name on this person so that we can, when I go to the police, I can put that information in with them. Now, chalking is forbidden, but I'm still going to try and figure out who the city attorney is and see if we can get them to give us a good clarification on what's going on there. Anything positive to say about the cult? Are you okay that women can't report sexual abuses against them if it's committed by a member of the church? Should women be allowed to report crimes if they're committed by the members of the church? Does that sound like something you should be supporting? The church wouldn't let Danny Masterson's victims come forward for 20 years. When they finally told the police, they were excommunicated. You know, family disconnection. Unable to talk to their family ever again. Oh, you didn't bring your coursework in? Oh, out ethics. Got to bring your coursework in the first time next time. So that couple, right, they walked out the south door. The south door is often locked. You usually can't get in the south door. So walked out the south door. They were fine with the idea that women can't report sexual abuses against them. They were fine with the idea that the church would forbid Danny Masterson's victims from coming forward. And then they made a big mistake. Oh, he got lucky. He doesn't have to come see me. Yeah, no one, that they claim now that if we mark the sidewalk, they'll ticket us. And if we continue to do it, they'll arrest us. What I would need to do is figure out, how do I get to a city attorney? I don't want to go through the arrest process to figure this out. I want to talk to a city attorney. Thank you, Philip. I really appreciate that. And one thing, if you're new here, my objective isn't to get people out of the church. It's really to hamper their recruiting processes. I don't have enough knowledge, skill, whatever that might be, in order to bring people out of the church. But I can do whatever I can to make sure that I'm thwarting the efforts of the body routers, make sure that I'll be honest with you, shaming, right? The couple that just came by, I want them to be shamed into the idea that they're supporting this cult. Anything positive to share about the church? Are you okay that women can't report sexual abuses against them if they're committed by a member of the church? Doesn't that sound a little wrong? And by a little, I mean grossly wrong. Oh, of the two women that walked up, the one that was wearing the lavender, so on the inside, the one closest to the building, she's got the lavender sweatshirt top. It's a hoodie, and she was wearing denim, dark curly hair. She is the one that assaulted me. Thank you. I like the way that's worded. Yeah, so if you go back to the Sunday episode, now we're talking 10 days ago at this point, 8 or 10 days ago. Within minutes, the church was out here. Oh, a woman just picked up flyers and she was going to come out. She saw me and she went right back in. So when we were here last Sunday, so 10 days ago, within 15 minutes of me putting a piece of chalk on the ground, the police were here. They left because there was nothing they could do. I wasn't writing hate speech. It's in my right to protest, and chalk is not graffiti. He came back about an hour later. Now, when on the first incident, there were 3 police here. So 3 police to solve a chalk problem. Sorry, so I want to pay attention as she comes out. There were 3 people here to try and solve a chalk problem. 3 police here to solve a chalk problem. They came back later when they had looked up the law and it says the word mark. So they said, no, you can't even mark the sidewalk anymore. At that point, there were 6 police here. So they had 6 police in 4 different squad cars on chalk. Later in the day, we taped a piece of sign to the sidewalk, and the police were here within 5 minutes of us taping to the sidewalk. And within, like I said, within 5 minutes, the police were here telling us we couldn't tape to the sidewalk. When I was assaulted later that afternoon by a woman doing precisely what the police told me not to do. Now, granted, let me go back a little bit. The police told me not to do something which I have never done. When I was assaulted, the police came 90 minutes later. So again, on a violent crime, 90 minutes. For chalk and tape, anywhere from 5 to 15, maybe 20 minutes to get here. Anastasia's about to put speaker out here. So our yawn girl is going to bring a speaker out into the foyer real quick. Can you remind me what OIG is? Hi, Anastasia. How are you doing today? So they've got the speaker. So they can have a speaker during the daytime hours. It's during the evening. They can't do it if it can be heard 100 feet away. So you can't have amplified sound 100 feet away. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the top of the street. It's kind of fun when I do this. So that woman who was going to come out the front with the flyers, she had the flyers in her hand. She saw me. She just said, oh, I'm not going out there. She went upstairs. Now, she might have gone upstairs so that she could go to the back of the building and walk down the stairs and go out the back door. But if I come up here, one of 2 things. Oh, other body riders just now showing up. This is the guy that gave me the finger in the subway the other night. We were chasing him around quite a bit. He couldn't get away from me. He couldn't pass out flyers. I got the 2 that he gave away back from the people that he gave them to. How you doing? Anything positive to say about church? I apologize for interrupting this story so many times. As I come down here, they think they're free to go out that front door. So they'll start coming out the front door because they don't see me. And naturally, I can track them from pretty far away. The video that I put up on Sunday evening, this past Sunday evening or Sunday morning, shows that I have always maintained a very respectful distance to the body routers. I have no desire to talk to the body routers. I only want to inform and educate the people that they give their propaganda to. So what I do now is I'll kind of float back and forth between this alley, because they'll try to come out the alley, and if they can't come out the alley, then they'll go out the front door. Remember, there's still that maintenance truck back there, but I can kind of see pretty easily. Sorry, guys. I can still see pretty easily what's going on down there. So I'll just kind of keep on floating back and forth between these 2 streets so that I can see if they come out. The other one that I'm going to say is very interesting. If you look at Free Xenu Project's video from, the Sunday 10 days ago, the woman, and I think it's on the end of mine as well, the woman just that assaulted me didn't really fear what was going on. So she stayed around there. And then one of the staff members came out and tried to shepherd her away. So they were even trying to handle her to do this. A couple other things that I think are interesting about that afternoon was that she doesn't speak English that well. So she's definitely an English as a second language person. And she had a recording that was in English. So the staff members of this church used that victim and sent that victim out into harm's way to further their objectives. They didn't really care about her at all, so that she could somehow bullbait me into reacting. She was unable to. I was able to remain calm until I felt that my life was threatened, and I called the police. Because as the police told me earlier that day, I can't put my camera in somebody's face. Sorry that I'm boring you with walking back and forth on these two streets, but the person that just came in, so we saw the young gentleman. I'd love to get his name because he's a person of color, and I just don't like to refer to him as the person of color. He's the one that I find body routing the most, and he'll try to outrun me. He'll try to sneak around corners. He has evaded me a couple of times, but it's usually just I've given him too much leash. Sunday evening. Yeah, on Sunday evening, again, I boxed him in. Israel was here, so I told Israel, hey, I'm going to take off. I'm going home. As I walked down into the subway, I found him again passing out flyers. And I have the audio, but there's no video because I had already kind of shut everything down. I have the audio of me telling the person, hey, that's a cult. Don't take that. Two women on the bench saying thank you for what I was doing. Oh, here he is. Our body router's out front. She's just handed one off. I'll contact this woman as she comes down. Oh no. Don't go in. It's a cult. It's a cult. It's a cult of Scientology. All right. Thank you for agreeing. Sorry, I didn't want to see you go in there. You know you're not going to pass any out, right? Keep those TRs in, though. Don't tell me what to do on a public sidewalk, ma'am. Don't tell me what to do on a public sidewalk. She's telling me not to follow her. There we go. Jay's using the appropriate use of the got him. Folks, please notice that I've given this person a very respectful distance. It's the cult of Scientology. That church is going to take all of your money. They're going to separate you from families. They'll commit crimes. Look up Lisa McPherson. Look up Danny Masterson. It's a money-making business. It's not a church. Please, ma'am, do any research. Any research. Look up Lisa McPherson. She died at their hands. They'll give you a personality test. They'll tell you there's some small thing wrong with you, and you can fix it by buying a book. And then you'll buy another book. And then you'll buy another book. Danny Masterson's serving 30 years to life right now in prison, and he's still a member in good standing of this church. He sexually abused 3 of their victims. They wouldn't let them report it to the police. No, she verbally said, okay. Now, what might happen is, since they've got 2 people that can body route, they might try to kind of drag me or lure me around with this one, and then have another one go out the back. So I'm going to head back up to the top of the street. And thank you so much for the gifts. Incredibly sweet of you. Oh, wait, why isn't that showing up? Thank you, GM Flower. Membership is a really affordable element on this channel. The only real perk is that you're going to get the emojis that we've got. For all of you that just got a membership, make sure to thank GM Flower. I'm heading up to the top of the street only because I want to keep an eye on both doors, and it's easier to from the top of the street. One of the fun things is that this person, the younger male that we saw earlier, he will hang his head down so dejectedly every time I catch him. There's a video that has the word Darth Vader in it. By the way, I lost monetization on that, but I think it's a fun video. And you can see that I just keep on forcing them to retreat back into the organization. Nice. Well said, Mrs. Ramblett. Another thing that you'll frequently hear me saying is that I fully believe that they have every First Amendment right to pass out their propaganda. But I also fully believe I have every First Amendment right to inform and educate anybody that they hand a flyer out to. We've got the woman here that's coming off the street. I know you guys can't see her because I've got the camera on the wide view. The other day she had a shirt on that said something to the effect of, "Why are we drugging all of our children?" Kind of that old ridiculous mantra that in 2005 Tom Cruise was trying to spew on Oprah and with Matt Lauer. The drug pamphlet that I was able to intercept this past weekend, I guess 2 weeks ago, right? Or, well, 10 days ago. That drug pamphlet was really, hey, hardcore drugs and, opioids, that kind of information. And yeah, I agree. I don't like that that's available. And it's a good idea that people don't get hooked on those kinds of drugs. But when the church then also equates that to mental stabilization drugs, pain relief drugs, that same Sunday, there's an older member of this church. She struggles to get up the curb. That's how old and frail she is. She stopped and had a conversation the other day, and she was mentioning how her back was hurt or sore. And I asked her, "Hey, can you take pain medication for that or therapy?" And came up, she said, "Oh no, never drugs. I never take any drugs." And again, they're just conditioned not to take drugs. And I'm not saying all drugs are good, and if you think about it, that for the most part, dosage is the only thing that makes most medicines the only thing that differs how medicines go from being helpful to poisonous. But we've had quite a time of understanding how drugs interact with humans and how we can balance chemical issues in the brain, how we can help relieve pain. We're not uneducated in this space. Last week we went past, there's another building here in Chicago it's a large building right there on the lakefront, on the riverfront. Church of Christ Scientist. And they're another one of those churches that believes that prayer, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with prayer, hey, put good vibes out in the universe, that's a great thing. But to prevent a child, and I remember lawsuits there where children would die because medical attention was withheld from them. And you can be a person of the Christian faith or of any faith and still understand that medicine works. I'm going to head back up to the top of the street. Yeah, I know that I'm being a little bit braggadocious here, but I get really miffed when people say protesting doesn't work. I have firsthand knowledge of people who have communicated with me on my channel saying, "Thank you. I did the research after they gave me the flyers, and I found out how crazy they were, and I'm not joining the church." Or the people that are, when I tell them after they've received a flyer what this church is about, they'll give me the flyer back. So that was loud. Sorry about that. So that's my contribution to helping end the cult. I'm just slowly keeping one or two people from joining. And if that's all I can do, it's all I can do. There's a car leaving southbound in the alley, and that car was pretty far up the alley. So one thing they might try and do is now put people in cars, drive them a few blocks away to kind of thwart my efforts. 100%. And again, thank you, Jim Flower, for the very benevolent gift. Howdy, Sue. Are they the ones that would be with, darn it, Aaron Kylie or whatever his name is, the ED out in San Francisco? Yeah, I think this is extremely important, right? That, yeah, I'm out here. I still think that while you guys can't be here, right, because, well, A, you don't live here or whatever the case may be, it might be more challenging for you to be mobile and be out here. If you can make the calls and flood the ward alderman with complaints, let the police know that we're not willing to tolerate this inequality in regards to how they enforce these laws. That the police can't stand up for the church. They can defend the law 100% or enforce the law 100%, but they have to enforce the law equally. I am very, very annoyed by the comment that the police make. Anything positive to say about the church? Sakala time. It's one of the Sakala brothers. I don't know which one that is. So remember, one of the Sakalas is the executive director, and his daddy is the partner of Dream Exchange. Dream Exchange claims to be the largest minority business brokerage it's not a brokerage. It's the ability to invest in VC. The way that they claim that is that the other partner who is able to help be the minority, he's the minority face of the business. He's the one that he owned the EQ nightclub, which, 15 years ago, burned down, and because of the way that they did the locked-in doors, many people died, and it was negligence about the way that they did that work. So they've turned the speakers up. My mic isolates it well enough that I don't think that you can hear anything on there. I put my mic up, or my camera up, for a local person. Love that. And that's a big deal. If they think that I'm just one man tilting at windmills here, what do they care? But when we can start to bring to bear 50 or 100 phone calls a day or an incident, they'll start taking notice. Just a quick reminder at the start of this, I was reminding everybody that Nance Drew has a court date this coming Monday, May 20th. On her community post, the top post on her community page, that's at Nance Drew, NANCEDREW. The first post on her community page is the number of ways that you can contribute if you feel so inclined. She is looking for funds to help pay her lawyers. Is it contingency fee or retainer? Well, regardless, money to a lawyer. So if you can get over there and help, that would be excellent. I appreciate that we have 20 new members. Okay, so is that a city level office, a county level office, a state level office? That's awesome. And by the way, The mods in this community are amazing. And again, yeah, we've seen several in here today. Fuzzy Pink Handcuffs, Ellie. You'll notice that when the police show up, or if the police accuse anybody of a crime or a violation of an ordinance, they're on the web looking for what those crimes are and whether or not they've been correctly applied, and additionally making phone calls to the police organizations that have either detained, arrested, incorrectly interpreted a law. And that's incredibly helpful. You know, it makes me feel comfortable that I can be out here paying attention to what's happening at the street level. The mods make sure there's no chaos going on in the chat on the channel, and they have our backs, and I really appreciate that. And they ask for nothing in return. Yeah, now they shouldn't be able to do cars. That should be a handbill violation. Now they can hand it out. You're allowed to hand out one thing to a person. You can't continue handing it out to the same person. Unfortunately, when that person discards it and throws it on the ground, that's not a Scientology problem of littering. It's the person who received the propaganda and no longer wanted it. So. All right, I'll see if I can get in contact with them. I just want to make sure that, again, that's not my forte. You know, I want to be there. I can deliver anything. I can hand anything in. But if they can help educate me on what are the talking points that I need to be aware of in this situation. Howdy, Dr. Mark. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, the county, I hate when things get kicked to the city, because the city self-investigates, and the city, when they investigate themselves, surprisingly find out that they've done nothing wrong. Some of the scariest things that I heard were that one of the protesters I know tried to lodge a complaint with the police against Commander Harris. Commander Harris is the commander of the 1st District, which is the police district that governs this area. And they said, sure, we can take that kind of complaint. What did he do? He was abusive towards these people. He wouldn't identify himself. He illegally kicked these people off of private property when they did that. And they said, oh, cool, yeah, we take complaints like that. Who was the officer? It was Commander Harris. Oh, we can't take that complaint. Well, who can? The state's attorney can. We call the state's attorney. Hey, state's attorney, some bad stuff happened here on March 3rd. The police were in violation of their duty. Oh yeah, we take that kind of complaint here. What happened? Oh yeah, we absolutely do that. Yeah, they can't kick you out of an alley if they don't have any right to. And then they said, who is the person that did it? Commander Harris. Oh, we can't take that complaint. So that guy has clout. You know, he must have naked photos of somebody in order to have that much clout that no enforcement agency is willing to go up against him. Now, COPA did go up against him, but at the end of the day, COPA has to turn their report over to police internal investigations, and just put a 1 in the chat if you think that the police did anything about it. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that the police put it right into the round cabinet, the round filing cabinet. Hey, where did all those twos go? You guys are a bunch of skeptics. All right, folks, I'm going to head back to my client. Just a reminder that, oh, so if the mods can find anybody who's live, I didn't see anybody live just before I came out. So if we can find anybody who's live, that would be great. Let's kind of do a little summary of what occurred here today. We got the blinds down in no time at all. We were able to contact a few members that were just out in the wild in the neighborhood, asking if they had anything positive to say about the church. Still, nobody responds to that question. The body router came out. We were able to interact with the two people that she handed anything out to, so she was rather ineffective in being able to pass anything out. Hey, Laura. Love seeing you. Thanks for being here. Love the support. The one body router, right, told me not to follow them. And I expressed to them, don't go in public places and I won't follow you. And again, one of the things that I wanted to emphasize on this live was that we need to help Nance out. She's looking for funds for the attorney for her May 20th court appearance with the contrived BS that the church has claimed against her. If you go over to Nance's page, thank you so much, Joy. I appreciate it. And I would love to see you out here. And that's another reminder. You don't need a camera. You don't need to stream. If you come out here, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be the funnest thing in the world the first time that you pick up the propaganda from any of the victims that these cultists have handed off to. All right, let's go raid MD Media. Everybody, I really appreciate you've been here. GM Flower, thank you so much for the generous donation. Hopefully everybody who received a membership is going to thank you for that. Ooh, that's a loud set of brakes. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down, and we'll head over and see MD Media. I'll see you all in the next live.